just been lied to, and from the get-go, I feel like that it's just been a cover-up from day one, and nobody's actually saying the truth, and I don't know, still not getting answers, and I'm having health issues that I feel are from this.
And what are your health issues?
I have been diagnosed with acute onset alopecia. I've lost all of my hair, my eyebrow, my lashes. It's just...
Since the derailment?
Starting in March. I've been to several doctors. I just keep getting referred to another one. I'm currently looking for a new dermatologist. I'm not happy with the level of care that I got from the last one. But they're hopeful it will grow back, is what I'm told. So
that's good. But they from what the people that I've been talking to, that talking about their these onsets of illnesses, all of a sudden they go to the doctor and they don't get any answers because the doctors don't know how to treat something where they don't know the chemical concoction that happened when they did the
burn, right?
The burn off. And
I mean, I've taken, after I've gone through first, I didn't assume that it was derailment related at first. I had my hormones tested, my thyroid tested, all the normal stuff. And then they did a scalp biopsy, and I had spoke with my dermatologist, and I asked about heavy metals testing and things like that. And then I had my little research studies about polyacrylic aromatic hydrocarbons and things I've educated myself on since the start of this, and how they affect, things like the sebum in your hair. At first I was asking people to call their representatives and their senators and things like that, but I don't even know if that would make a difference. I've lost complete faith in the system, I feel. And I've always been go vote, your vote counts. But I don't feel that's necessarily true. I don't think anything's gonna happen. And I really feel like the government hasn't done their job to hold more folks accountable.
So this is Lori and Wayne, and why don't you guys tell them a little bit about how this has affected your life since this derailment happened?
You go first.
Where to begin?
Why don't you just talk about where you live too?
We live on Darlington Road in Darlington Township. We're 3.4 miles from the derailment site. There was no evacuation for our area, but we did leave, but we didn't stay gone for 4 hours. Then we came back and we smelled the sweet smell. And that's about when it all started. The health of the people that live in my household, including myself, has been crazy.
Talk about your blood work first. What happened with the blood?
Yes, I had blood work done. I tested positive for benzene and vinyl chloride. Our daughter, who's 24, tested positive as well for benzene and chloride. My wife tested positive for benzene. Go figure that one out. And it's just like pulling tooth and nail to try to get the EPA to help do anything. I mean, anything. If it wasn't for Lori, the EPA would not have been testing our soil, but a lot of good that did. You can't read the gobbledygook. And they don't put it in layman's terms. They say, oh, everything's fine. That's what they're saying about everybody in East Palestine, everything's fine. And then we know it's not. It's not. Down the road, I got diagnosed with breast cancer, male breast cancer. Now, I don't know if this had anything to do with it. I'm not saying that it did or didn't, because I don't know. But it sure is curious. It sure is curious. We lived in that house for 25 years and never had any, I'm 65 years old. I never had any real bad ailments the whole time. We've been together for 25 years. That whole time, I've never had anything but maybe a strep throat.
Yeah.
That's it. Then all of a sudden, after that derailment, the bottom fell out the basket.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yeah.
And the journey continues.
And right now you're
doing chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And What about you?
I cannot begin to put into words the effect that this has had on our lives. We talked today about how this year has just been a complete wash from February 3rd on, because you live in fear.
Yeah.
You're afraid. We couldn't plant a garden this year. We couldn't work in our yard like we normally do.
We don't drink our water.
We don't drink our water. Nobody can give us answers to the questions. And when we think that everything might be okay, something comes out, we try to educate ourselves to what has happened. I don't think that there's been truth and transparency from the agencies, from Norfolk Southern. I've had arguments with family members over this, friends who say, well, you couldn't have been affected. But unfortunately, the blood work in the urine shows different.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's in my house. I think it's in our house and our insulation, because we have an air monitor that is still picking up VOCs and particulate matter. Some days worse than others. And I worry about him, his recovery, the future for him. Our daughter, she goes next year in March to be tested for cancer gene. These are two people who have been, for 25 years have been healthy for the most part. And to watch this happen to them as a mother and a wife, it's horrific. It's horrific. I don't think I have slept an entire night since February 3rd.
No.
You wake up in the middle of the night and you think about all the things that are going on. And are we going to get through this? Can we get through this? What do we do with, our home that we've paid for? Our home that was our retirement. We were going to give it to our children. And now I don't want to leave that to my children or to our grandchildren if it's contaminated.
Right.
We just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
The
We're
wheels
lost.
are turning real slow, and we can't get any help from nobody.
I know there's
Except
a lot
for
of
local people.
I know there's a lot of naysayers out there who say that, people are taking advantage of this or taking advantage of that. And that bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me too.
Now, us personally, we haven't taken anything from Norfolk Southern or anyone. We buy our own water. We take care of our own everything. I bought produce from 30 miles away to can, because I do can, because I like to eat healthy foods, fresh foods. And I couldn't do that out of my own yard this year. So we were forced to spend that money to buy produce to can, but it's done, and we have our food. But
This is so uncertain.
Yeah.
The future is so uncertain. I'm more worried about our girls than I am us.
yeah,
Because we're going to be gone.
Yeah.
And they're going to be stuck with this mess.
yeah.
Whatever mess that is. We like answers.
Yeah.
We're not getting them.
We would.
And anything else you want to say to the folks out there?
I just want them to know that
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Ever.
And in all of this, I have to say that we have met some of the kindest,
Sure have.
honorable people that we did not know existed. If I have to say anything good that came out of this, was the amount of people that have come together
That's true.
to support each other, to check on each other, to care about each other.
And we're not looking for a payday.
No.
We're just looking for them to make it right.
Yeah,
That's all.
right. That's all we want.
That's
it.
all.
That's all we want.
That's it.
We come down Taggart Street
Yeah.
in the bar. I don't know what the name of that one bar is there. We stopped there to let her out in the grass there.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes. My eyes started burning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People had said today that they're having problems.
Yeah,
with
and
the
they've
rain.
been watering like this ever since we come home.
You're kidding.
And that was like 1 o'clock. And they've just been burning and watering and
That rain. So I'm here with Evelyn. Evelyn has a story. She lives, this is Negley, Ohio, so which we're 3 miles south, 3.5 miles south of the derailment. But Evelyn it lives right on the creek. So tell us what's been going on here, Evelyn.
Well, I've been getting black slimy stuff in my sinks that you can't even wipe off. Has to be scoured with SOS pads and powder and stuff. You can't wipe it. And then we just haven't been able to. We had to go buy a water cooler. We get water delivered, which is anywhere from $50 to $70 a month to get our water delivered.
Right.
My son has got rashes on him, big welts, 3 times now since the derailment
Wow.
that he never had before. Never. And I mean, they were only, some was that big around. They were just huge on it. Took him to the doctors. Doctor said she didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I said, well, could it be from the derailment? Well, I can't say that because she's a doctor uptown.
Huh.
And she couldn't say that. So, but I know that's what it's from because he never had it before.
Right.
So it's just been horrible. Just
How many times has the EPA been here?
for the first, I'd say 6-7 months, they were here once a month. Now they're here every 6 weeks. They just called me yesterday. They're coming back again next week. They were here 6 weeks ago. And the university was here about 4 weeks ago. Okay, Dora was the woman's name that was here with the university. And said that there was low levels of vinyl chloride showed up in the water testing that they took.
That they took.
Yeah, I've had a lot of issues with my stomach, but we're not drinking it.
Right.
We haven't drank it since the derailment.
Right.
As soon as that derailment happened, and they said the water was in Leslie Run, we just stopped.
Yeah.
We haven't drank it since then, and we were getting the water that they were giving uptown, and then they just quit. I grew up in this house.
Oh.
And John and I bought it off my parents when they moved to Florida. We've been here 33 years.
Yeah.
Not one single issue with our water at all. Nothing. It was spring fed 17 years ago. It was like this here now, the university was here before,
Right.
about, I'd say maybe 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they tested the water and there was nothing, no vinyl chloride showed up in it.
Yeah.
So since then to now, it has. So it took kind of that long for it to
To
get worked down to here. So, and if it's a low level now, what's it gonna be in another 6 months?
Hi, this is Chris, and I just wanted her to tell you a little bit about how the derailment and the aftermath has affected her.
I started getting ill in April. I've been on antibiotics, steroids, and I'm still getting sick over and over. I've only been to the reimbursement center twice, and since then they've just been denying me on everything.
What were you trying to get help on?
I tried to get filters for air purifiers, and they turned me down. They told me to purchase furniture, and they would reimburse me, so I did, and they turned me down.
Because you had, how close are you to the derailment?
They're 1 mile. I'm like 2 houses from their 1 mile mark on West Martin.
Okay.
I have a picture of that stuff going over my home. I didn't evacuate. I was told I didn't have to evacuate.
Because you're on the west side.
But the storms that came in April ripped half my roof off, and my insurance is refusing to pay to fix it, and that's when I started getting sick. With all the rain, when it rains, I get deathly sick. I live in a 1920s house, so it leaks, the basement leaks. But since the derailment, that's all I've been dealing with is just being sick.
And these doctors that you're seeing can't diagnose you, or they
just said that we can't determine if it's from the derailment. You don't know.
And why do they have you on antibiotics?
Because I keep getting lung infections. I keep getting these rashes. You can see the rash already starting. I get them in my mouth. I get them on my face. I get covered in them.
So they just keep putting me on antibiotics and steroids because they don't know how to treat it, because no one has come forward to say, like the EPA has not come forward and say, listen, these are the chemicals, this is how it needs to be treated.
Right.
And so the doctors don't know what to do either. Just like my vet, he doesn't know how to treat, because he didn't know.
The chemical cocktail that was created
Yes.
with the burn off.
Yes.
There's so many things, so many compounds. And you had none of this prior
No.
to the derailment.
No, I mean, this is the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. And it's just over and over and over. Like, I just got done with antibiotics and prednisone. And I mean, I've gained a lot of weight because of the steroids.
Mm-hmm.
I just got over it. And I left Monday and came home Tuesday. I woke up and I was like sick again. So I've been pretty much sleeping and I'm tired. I have no energy. And I feel like I'm at home, I'm suffocating. Now that everything, closed up, I literally feel like I'm suffocating. When I first went there, I got reimbursed for furnace filters.
Mm-hmm.
So then I bought an air purifier and I went back. And the gentleman that took care of me, I showed him the plumb that went over my house. And he said to me, replace your furniture, replace all your mattresses. And I explained to him, I said, I can't, do it all at once. I can do one at a time, get reimbursed. And he said, do it. He said, because with that stuff going over your home, everything's contaminated now.
He told you that?
Yeah, he was an employee there. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't go and look for the most expensive furniture. I found something on clearance. And when I took the receipt back in April, they said, come back in June. I went back in June, they said, come back in August. I went back in August, they said, come back in October. When I went back in October with a thing for air purifier filters, they said to me that they're not gonna reimburse me. Since I have an attorney, they will not speak to me anymore. Mm-hmm. And that their attorney told me this, that they were going to stop relocation and reimbursing people. And I said about my pets, and they're like, oh, you can't prove that we caused it. Mm-hmm. And then when my grandchildren would come over on the weekend, well, through the week, even in the summer, they would be fine when they got there. By next morning, their stomach hurts, they're coughing, they, just wasn't just feeling right.
Yeah. And
then my son recently moved back home and he's like, Mom, he's like, I don't feel good. Like there's something, I'm like, welcome to East Palestine. I just want to thank you and Rick, because you guys have done so much for the people and the community. And him going to the creeks and proving that that these people are lying to us.
Yeah.
That means a lot to us. I mean, I worry because I'm always afraid that something's gonna happen to him. And it's just, you guys have done so much for us. And not everybody appreciates it, but the ones that do, we really appreciate it.
So this is our friend Rob. Rob, why don't you give a little bit about yourself and your story about the derailment?
Oh geez, what a story. Let's see what we can do in a couple sentences or paragraphs, because I'm pretty long-winded.
That's okay.
I already have some pre-existing medical conditions, and obviously this event, being a mile and a half away from the fires and the derailment, impacted me. I have a rare form of heart failure. It's a genetic muscular form, and some other conditions. And I don't drive, but I'm on foot. And so I have to walk downtown 3 times a week or so, and it's a pretty good jaunt, especially with the heart failure. And I have been, having a bit more struggle with that probably the last year and a half, where I'm okay going down, but coming back, I have to take those 2 or 3 longer stops. And just within a couple days of the derailment, it was like I hit a brick wall. And I couldn't even make it to town, let alone climbing back. So I tried that again a few days later, so on and so on. And that was my impact. that was the impact I had after the derailment and the disaster here. I evacuated to the high school with the Red Cross, and I think it was a couple dozen people. So that was a good experience and an interesting. The Red Cross was terrific, and during any kind of crisis, as with the whole community here, you get closer. You get divided, part of the community, that's for sure, and you get much closer to the people that, have a common cause. So I was at the high school, and that was a direct view when they did the controlled burn.
Yeah.
So that was probably 2 miles away, and it did, as everybody's seen the incredible photography or footage, it looked like a mini black Hiroshima, and it was very frightening. The thing that was very interesting being at the high school was that from where we stood, once that great plume climbed and then it hit and leveled up with the atmosphere, that cloud covered 3/4 of the sky in the heavens. So the only piece of sky that was open and clear was, far over into the west. So that was quite a spread of toxicity.
Did you find that you had some chemical smell in your home when you came back?
Yeah, and the other edge of that, a neighbor just a couple houses down here that she's never had, she was in the, different groups of people with different respiratory or skin problems or headaches or neurological. She had the nosebleeds, and she had never had one, and she had 15 within 2 weeks. And so she was highly responsive to the odor.
Yeah.
And I was noticing it, and I was especially noticing it when I would take those walks downtown. So I never left after the 3 days evacuating, and I've been here the entire time. Yeah, for a couple months at least. But this large area, I'm just one street up from Taggart, which abuts the derailment and the railroad track. And it's a big open area, and so this is where all the truck traffic has been unloading the water and the contaminated soil and so on. So it has been kicking up a amazing
And you
amount
mean
of dust.
contaminated water, you don't mean good water.
Yeah, I do mean that. But boy, I'll tell you, especially earlier in the year, the summer and so on, a lot of dust.
Yeah.
And so what's the problem with a lot of dust? Well, we can't be sure, but dioxin does adhere to dust.
Yes.
But regardless, that was stirring things up, and so it was, the odor was around the entire area for quite a long time.
So this is Roger and Janet, and they are residents of East Palestine for how many years?
I've been over there over 40. He's been there since for 28.
28 and 40. So they've been there a very long time. Can you just tell the folks out there how this has impacted your life? What aspect or what significant things have happened to you personally?
Well, one of the things is we've been playing leapfrog with doctor's appointments. He has one day, I have one next day. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 in a day.
Yeah.
And then we had to hurry up and build a watershed that's insulated because we can't use our water.
Right.
We've lost some of our animals.
Oh.
We lost 5 of our cats
Oh my.
due to this.
That all happened after the derailment.
This is all due with the derailment. I have chemical burns on my lungs.
Oh, you're kidding.
I have asthma, bronchitis, and a whole slew of other stuff going on with my lungs. I'm on a puffer, one of the most expensive and strongest puffers they can use.
An inhaler.
And
Oh.
inhaler,
Inhaler.
yeah. And then I'm on blood pressure medicine now.
And you weren't before?
No.
Oh.
And they're trying to figure out what caused the infection I have that they can't get rid of. I'm on 1,000 milligrams a day of antibiotics that they're trying to figure out why I have this infection that I never had before. They can't figure out what's causing my infection.
Oh my goodness.
And I never had anything like this before until the train wreck.
And let's explain to people how close you are to the derailment.
The train is where it derailed is right down over the bank from us. If you go up straight ahead and go down over the bank, less than half a mile, is where the big train that exploded.
Yeah.
We get all the fumes and everything from that when they're down there messing around, working or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, the dust and
The dust, the stuff that's in the air, and sometimes you can walk out and it looks like a very foggy day, but it's not. It's the toxins in the air.
yeah. And what about you, Roger?
I had chemical burns on my lungs. I had life-threatening blood clots. They weren't provoked, that is. They were not, I didn't do anything lifestyle. And even though I'm not a power lifter or a bodybuilder, I'm good size because I've been a heavy laborer all my life. And they thought I was sedentary and, you know, stuff, and they figured that the sedentary lifestyle caused them. The Veterans Administration wouldn't listen to anything. But though they've got burn pit laws and other type of water poisoning laws from Camp Lejeune and burn pit laws, the Veterans Administration will not see me if it's train derailment related. I'm not just a disabled veteran, I'm a certain category of disabled veteran. And I was shocked that they wouldn't do it, but as far as things goes, I have service-connected injuries. This has exacerbated my service-connected injuries. I have I don't need sophisticated equipment or air equipment to know that things are wrong.
Do you want to say anything to the folks out there that's anything else?
Yes, Merry Christmas to all of you, but don't forget East Palestine. East Palestine needs all the help and support, including your prayers, as we could get.
So I have Jessica and Christopher, and I'm sorry, what's your name, sweetie?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. And they live here in East Palestine. And tell us how the derailment has affected you guys.
It has definitely affected us in a lot of ways. Me personally, I have been out of work, diagnosed with congestive heart failure that turned into severe heart failure. I actually had to wear an external defibrillator for 4 months, and I still am not back to work yet.
Unemployment ran out and we're down to single income for the moment.
And it's tough. And before the train derailment, I was in very good health. I'm very active. I worked a lot of hours. I did a lot of things, and now I'm down to not working at all.
It's terrible. And but the kids' health okay?
So far.
Yeah, for now. It
Not
was
bad
a
enough.
little bit bad for a while. Our one middle daughter was getting nosebleeds, and I mean, every time she stepped in the house, she would get, because we lived in a hotel for 4 months also.
Yeah,
And
so every time she came home, it was in May, for a solid week, it was a nosebleed every single day.
Sorry. This has impacted our lives. From the moment it happened, the minute it happened, our lives changed that night. We were in our home for 30 years, and we don't view our home the same anymore. We don't feel safe there. I have been fully diagnosed with PTSD. That's how it has impacted my life. The nightmares that I'm still experiencing.
Because you were very close to the tracks and the fire that weekend.
Our home is roughly 200 feet from the rail line, and we are roughly 1,500 feet from where the fires were burning, where the derailment, the actual impact of the derailment took place.
Right.
We were home that night, and we sheltered in place that weekend, and the things that we heard and experienced and lived through. Our lives will never be the same. We will never be the same.
You're in a completely different home now that's about 12 miles away or so?
Yeah,
approximately.
We're about 11 miles from where we were before.
Right.
totally decided to relocate and take on a mortgage, I was idling into retirement.
Yeah.
You know, looking forward to it
A lot of
10 years
people.
from now, and we just took on a 30-year mortgage starting from scratch, hoping our original house will sell.
Yeah.
If it
Right.
does sell, it's not gonna cover this one, just the way inflation is and home values are going in town.
Yeah.
And honestly, our home's been listed now on the market for over 30 days, and we've had zero interest in our home, and that's devastating to me because that's where we raised our family.
It was everything to
That's
us.
everything to us. It's our blood, sweat, tears.
Yeah.
Our memories are in that house. And that's our home.
Yeah.
And we planned on staying there the rest of our lives, and they destroyed that for us. They took that from us. They stole that from us. I want to thank everyone that has donated to help our community from everything, from the water, which is so desperately needed because we don't feel safe drinking the water there. We are so very thankful and appreciative, and it means the world to us.